Hey everybody! Recently, claims about rampant, unfair and forced negativity in gaming has surfaced again off the back of criticisms towards the brand new Halo campaign Evolved.
Not bad, Spartan. I'm almost starting to believe the propaganda.
The move from PlayStation to end physical media.
You know, a lot of people ask why. Why treat the customer this way? Why? Because f*** them, that's why.
The God of War Lao Fade debacle last month.
Hey! Not so fast. How'd that get in here? What the hell is it anyway?
That is my wife.
Well, what in all yarns me that happened to him? He's too damn tall now. And he looks like that. I blame you.
The recent absolute meme that was Mixtape the month before that.
Patrick Baldini told me he wants to f Mom.
I mean, only if he'll make my mom happy and be a supportive father figure.
And what the f is you talking?
What's that?
I'm sorry, man. I wasn't thinking about it.
So on, so forth. When a lot of these things pile up, it gets some people complaining about a toxic culture of negativity in gaming, of forced outrage. And it especially comes by games media outlets and big content creators who would prefer it if you guys would just quiet down and consume product while waiting for next product that they will be bringing glowing previews and reviews of to a screen close to you very soon. Today I just want to expose how silly that narrative is, how it actually has no substance, how it has no logic or reasoning behind it, and how it is even fueled by self-interest. And additionally, how when they say that you're being negative, the truth is that they are the ones negatively impacting the industry. We'll first be starting with a big post from a relatively big content creator that I saw calling it out, and then we'll be moving towards a former Halo developer who has been getting attacked online for his opinions, calling things out the way that he sees it, both as someone who worked at major studios like Bungie before, who knows the ins and outs of this industry, and who now works on his own stuff as an indie developer far, far away from the complexities and annoyances of AAA. So without wasting any more time, let's get in there. The following post comes from Colt Eastwood, a relatively big channel of nearly 200,000 subscribers. As usual, goes without saying, but don't brigade this guy, it doesn't even matter. What is far more interesting about this topic is the topic itself, not the creator. Because really, this isn't even a new thing. It's a sentiment that keeps coming back through the mouths of many different big content creators, some game developers like the people ahead of Highguard earlier this year, popular streamers who cry about a game getting criticism, and then you check out their Twitch tracker and you find out that they weren't even streaming the game themselves, such as what went down earlier this year as well if you remember my Highguard coverage. In other words, everyone else ditching the game because they're not enjoying it to play something else is bad, but them doing it is fine. Oh, and of course, games media outlets as well pushing the same kind of message that the games are fine, no matter how flawed, no matter how overpriced, no matter how misdirected, no matter how terrible even in some cases, and the real problem with gaming right now is toxic negativity culture surrounding people criticizing games, which we'll get to later as well, but let's go one by one. Quote, "So sick of the negativity and nitpicking with gaming lately. Y'all are miserable." Very simple post, almost doesn't even merit talking about anything in regards to it, but it's in the replies that the real spaghetti is at. Still, what made me open the comment section to begin with is that this was posted on July 26th. In a week where a bunch of people were online having a blast sharing clips of Palworld with the official release of its 1.0 build, something that's still going on right now. No shortage of positivity from that, and a few other things that I'll also bring up just a second, showing that this guy is disingenuous, which is a sentiment that other people also express in his comments, but that he hid the replies from when called out. Comments supporting his view, on the other hand, are even more hilarious. Quote, "Nobody hates gaming more than gamers. LOL, so true." I mean, what even is this statement? nobody goes over the speed limit more than drivers. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who else other than gamers would quote-unquote hate gaming, which at this point, by the way, is just a synonym for criticism. So, nobody criticizes gaming more than gamers. Obviously, the people engaging in a hobby are going to be the ones most vocal about the things that they both enjoy and dislike in that hobby. If you watched my review of Halo Campaign Evolved, you'll remember me bringing up some screenshots towards the end of people complaining that Halo fans are the biggest haters of Halo. Oh, they're awful, and if Halo ever dies, it's because of the Halo fans and their negativity, their inability to just accept whatever 343 puts out. It's the same kind of idiocy present here. It's like saying the sky is blue. Of course, Halo fans, the people who play Halo, are going to be the primary critics of Halo. And if a studio ends up dying because the fans of that franchise are rejecting the game's releasing and there are no new fans coming in to enjoy whatever the fuck they're putting out, then that should be a sign of how bad the work that the studio is doing is. But anyway, moving on. Someone else noted, "Hey, did you miss all the Palworld posts?" Colt responded with, "That game is awesome." So basically this dude just destroyed his own damn point. More than once too, because someone else noted, "Hey, did you try that Tokon beta on PC or PS5? I'm playing the PC and it's pretty awesome. Pre-order the deluxe one because I'm a sucker for Marvel games." Colt responds with, "I'm not into fighting games, but I've heard nothing but great things." Well shit, if you heard nothing but great things about two games dominating the news on the week that you just posted this, then what are you talking about when you cry about being sick of negativity and nitpicking in gaming? This dude makes it sound like it's an apocalyptic event just because people are scrutinizing what they buy a little bit more than before. But really, this isn't a general problem for people. In fact, for the average Joe, it isn't just a good thing, it's straight up a natural thing. There are multiple thousands of games releasing every year now. It's not 2015 anymore. Competition is inevitable. It's also good for the industry because competition breeds better games. So for the average Joe, criticism, scrutiny, etc. is a plus. People need to know whether a game is worth their time or not. But even for content creators or channels, whatever word you want to use here, it's not even a general problem either. Usually if you got a channel, you just talk about whatever's going on. It doesn't matter if it's negative, positive, you just talk about whatever you want. There's plenty of topics to pick from. But some channels out there, some social media accounts, exist solely to sell you products, and that's why it's a problem for them. It's stuff with low common denominator type content. Some of them don't even make videos, they just post stuff like news, details released by devs, leaks, signal boosting, unboxing, hype posts to get people excited for new hardware, future projects, and of course, upcoming games, no matter what they are and no matter how many red flags they got. Accounts like these are a dime a dozen. Some of them are only on X, like for example this Synth Potato guy. Some of you may remember him, he was the one who was shilling for Assassin's Creed Shadows last year, calling people who hated it grifters. Then he goes ahead and criticizes the game himself later. Very lightly, of course, so nothing major, but he still did when enough time had passed. So I guess for me, if I criticize Shadows, I'm a grifter, but if Synth Potato criticizes Shadows, then he's a game reviewer. But anyway, sorry, I digress. It's the curse of my videos. The point that I was trying to drive at is that this is only a problem for these types of influencers because their whole thing is power positivity. There's no need for deeper analysis, no need for deeper scrutiny, no need to think that much, just bring up leaks, rumors, or news that may be up and about, get keys, post a general review, bada bing, bada boom, move on to the next game, so on and so forth, the wheel keeps on turning. So what happens when they're doing that for studios that are making shitty games, making really bad decisions? Well, people aren't interested in that content. They don't care about the latest news from Bethesda, for example, because Bethesda doesn't really inspire much confidence. And then these content creators themselves refuse to criticize the companies. They refuse to be what they consider negative. And this is something they even admit themselves. Let's dive more into why and how with a few more comments and responses from Colt's post, and then later the Halo dev. Just as a reminder though, if you find yourselves enjoying the video, hitting the like or commenting is a huge help for the channel. And besides that, get yourselves a drink because holy hell, it's like 30 degrees Celsius out here, fellas. I don't know how much more of this I can take.
This is Running on Empty food review. I'm out of breath. I'm actually out of breath.
The Cope session continued in Colt's comment section with comments like this, quote, "It's not just video games, it's nearly all consumable media. Monetization has forced a prioritization of dogshit takes, nitpicking, and rage bait for clicks. It's so exhausting." Colt responds with, "So true." I find this very ironic. People like this only ever bring up monetization when it comes to people criticizing something, but they never bring up how much worse that monetization is when it comes to people glazing something. With monetization, there is nothing driving your intent or whatever you'd like to call it. Like, you don't just get monetized if you're posting about a thing in a negative critique. You get monetized if what you're posting is positive. You get monetized if what you're posting doesn't even have a positive or negative classification. You can post a fucking video of paint drying, and if enough people watch it, it's going to get monetized. Hell, if enough people watch it, it might even get sponsored by a paint company. Just look at all the people glazing the Odyssey right now and getting into spats online with other people who hate it. Everyone's making money off of that discourse. But when it comes to shills who are never negative about a thing and whose sole existence is to signal boost games, to basically act as advertisers and hype pushers, even at times without disclosing that they're doing so, or that they're being sent stuff, for example with what happened with some online creators and gaming outlets who were astroturfing Mixtape all the way back in May, those people aren't only getting paid from monetization, they're also getting paid outside of that through commissions, sponsorships, or external incentives such as access to exclusive content to show off on their channels, driving online traffic over there, free keys to stream or review upcoming games, or invitations to previews which also drive traffic to their channels. All of this is so much worse in terms of generating a bias than basic monetization. But again, people like this, they never bring that up. They never address the problem that installed itself in games journalism over a decade ago and that installed itself in the influencer sphere over the last decade, where you go online, you open your YouTube or your Facebook or your X, whatever, and you are greeted with Johnny Headset, and Johnny Headset has his best content creator voice on as he tells you all about how hyped everyone is about this next upcoming game and how excited you should be as well, ending the video saying how pre-orders are opening soon. The one thing Johnny Headset will not mention though is every valid reason why you should probably hold your horses and be smarter with your money. And therein lies the problem with Johnny Headsets out there. I don't care if this kind of content creator exists. I'm not out here on a crusade to terminate people's channels or to hinder their freedom of speech. If they want to be positive, then they should be positive. Go ahead, be positive. But don't get mad when other channels exist who scrutinize these companies and what they're doing, the decisions that they're making, and the problems in their games. If you're losing views to them, maybe look inward and try to fix it. And Colt Eastwood here is on a similar bus. I clicked on his channel to try to get an idea of the guy. This is because his main post is so vague that it's hard to understand what the fuck is he even mad about. Now he has a lot of news videos, especially with Xbox updates lately. Xbox does something and bro is right there to cover it. But I did find a post on a game that we are all too familiar with, Starfield. This was one of his videos covering the recent release of the game on PS5, which if you guys remember was a technical mess. PS5 players were experiencing constant crashes every few minutes, both on the base console and the Pro version. Loads of performance issues too, where in some areas the 60 FPS performance mode would start chugging and dropping frames into the low 30s. The PS5 Pro has a funny way to fix this, which is its performance mode works at 900p. 900p. I mean, what are we, back in 2013? Well, I guess it's fitting for a Bethesda game. Something else fitting for a Bethesda game are god-awful bugs, like the one that made the game randomly state that it was unable to save your game. Ain't that neat? I said recently I would one day return to Starfield, give it a second shot and then review it. But seeing these news at launch saved me from wasting $50 on a PS5 version of the game. I'll just play it on PC when the time comes. None of this shit was mentioned in Colt's video at all. I won't show it here because I don't, trust the dude who hides replies on Twitter, not to DMCA a video criticizing him while using clips of his, but I did watch his whole video and he did not talk about these things to his massive 200,000 plus audience. This is why your so-called negativity is important. Games cost money, and we are in a time where big renowned studios, even from Xbox itself, cannot be trusted to not deliver a damn mess. People need some channels who will tell them what the fuck is going on so they can make wiser choices with their money. If we make gaming news, reviews, and discussion content, this is the least that we can do for people. But anyway, let's keep moving on here and see even more of these people dig even bigger holes for their positions. Quote, "Amen, brother. You should be a Bethesda guy and see and hear all the negativity that I get every day." Colt responds with, "Every Bethesda video I do is loaded with it." Yep, it's become the popular thing to hate on Bethesda. Gee, I wonder why, guys. I wonder why it has become popular to hate on Bethesda. I wonder if it has anything to do with them still, to this day, continuing to majorly fuck up their game releases. Gee, man. Gee, I wonder. I just wonder, how does this happen? I hate this kind of thing so much, dude. It's not just the disingenuousness, it's the straight up chilling. I mean, I just realized this dude's name is King Fanman Bethesda. Bro is wearing the brand's balls on his forehead as a hat, and he's complaining about how much the negativity in gaming sucks because, oh no, oh man, it's so difficult to shill these days, man. I try to shill, but I can't even do it in peace, bro. I try to do it and these damn haters come on my comment sections and call out my shit, man. I hate it. Can't a shill just chill in peace anymore? It's hilarious because I just made a Bethesda Fallout video about 2 weeks ago. It was a 10-penny tower one, and while I'm not exactly glazing Fallout 3, I am basically dissecting an entire quest from that game and discussing lore from the games without being negative towards Bethesda or the game either. I didn't get any hate comments telling me that Bethesda sucks and I should stop making Fallout videos. In fact, I got a bunch of people telling me to consider doing more videos like that because they really enjoyed it. So it's almost like you can make Bethesda content, you just can't be a lazy bitch who sits there vapidly glazing their games or their latest updates while actively ignoring real issues like the Starfield release on PS5. And I'm sorry, but if I may add one more thing, this idea that it's fashionable or popular to hate Bethesda is disgusting tourist garbage. Anyone who's an actual gamer who's been around and who engaged with Bethesda's games will know that Bethesda has actually had an opposite track record, where despite their games always releasing buggy since the damn dawn of time, people still cut them a lot of slack because in the end the games offered a world people still got lost in and enjoyed playing. It took years of increasingly more broken releases and a decline in quality in their games for this to actually switch and for the overwhelming sentiment to finally become more negative than positive, as it has been for Fallout 76 and Starfield for absolutely deserved reasons. Bethesda profited substantially from all the goodwill that they farmed in the 2000s. Instead of capitalizing on it and using their newfound fortune to make sure that their games got better and released in better shape, we got Fallout 76's utterly broken release that remained a disaster for over a year, with even more laughable issues that even expanded beyond the game. Bethesda bugged reality, like the canvas pack that was supposed to be in the $200 collector edition being replaced with a trashy looking bag instead, or the moldy T-51 power armor helmet that had to be recalled because the fabric inside was actually a literal health hazard because of a dangerous mold inside of it. Or the pristine $80 Nuka-Cola dark liquor that fans paid out the ass for, only for it to get delayed, and then when it arrived, it wasn't even a proper collectible Nuka-Cola bottle. It was a cheap-ass glass bottle inside a big ugly plastic casing. And as much as I want to laugh at these people for being idiotic enough, weak enough, that they would even buy these things to begin with, the least that Bethesda could do is to at least make sure that their staunchest fans are getting what they paid for, but they can't even manage that. So honestly, spare me, my dude. It isn't popular to hate on Bethesda out of nothing. It's popular because they are one of the biggest dunces in gaming history through their own actions. Sorry for that detour, let's get back on track with these weird claims. What they sound to me is that there's people who just want to glaze games or promote them absent criticism. But I'll show you guys the sauce and then you can make up your own minds. Beyond that example from the Bethesda fan dude, there was one more I'd like to address here. It's this dude right here, Pvtmarcos, small channel. He expressed the same kind of exasperation that this whole negativity thing is a decent part of why he hasn't had the desire to sit down and record another video for the past 3 months. Colt responds with, "Yeah, it's frustrating, man." So sad. Oh, it's so sad, guys. But with that said,
I missed the part where that's my problem. Whatever life holds in store for me, I will miss the part where that's my problem.
Okay, no, but seriously, I don't want to be an asshole. It's Sunday. I'm only an asshole on Mondays, but this is such a weird concept that I can't take seriously. You cannot tell me that you are unable to make a single video about a really dope game without being hit by negativity so overwhelming that you straight up peace out of content creation. There's no shortage of great games to talk about, and the idea that he would get negativity on everything is just a blatant, disgusting goddamn lie, the likes of which we only hear from Kotaku ass level journalists. Besides, negativity? What exactly does that even mean? Again, usually when people whine about it like this, it's just a synonym for criticism, which this guy has in his own channel, which isn't even that hard to find. All it took was 2 finger scrolls. Another relevant thing from Colt's post is this guy's comment. Quote, "I just mute them. I'm looking for gamers, not people wishing demise on the platform they don't play. Gaming is a wonderful pastime. Here's the rub, Bruno. If you don't criticize the garbage in the industry, that garbage will not be taken out. It's just going to get stacked up with more garbage. Criticism has always been a totally normal thing, a necessary thing, so I don't get what these people's problem with it is. 100% confirmed, every single mother on the planet has criticized things." I checked out a video on Starfield from Pvtmarcos' channel. Most of his comment section was gleaming with positivity and excitement for what he said in the video, which was a breakdown of some rumors from a source that he trusted that Starfield's big 2.0 update is coming. Towards the end of the comment section is where I started seeing some negative comments, and they were totally right on the money, by the way. Like, I don't even, again, it's this whole thing where it's like negative, but negative why? Because it's the truth? I don't understand that. Regardless, they were perfectly inoffensive comments. They weren't towards Pvtmarcos. The ones dunking on Bethesda were rightfully bringing up concerns of how terrible the writing is in the game and how a 2.0 update is not going to be able to update that. That Bethesda can add more vehicles, Bethesda can move some things around for space travel, Bethesda can add a few new things here and there on top of the foundation, but the very foundation of Starfield is the major issue that took them out of the game. Now this guy's ex-bio reads, "Let's spread some positivity." My dude, I understand wanting to be more positive. I understand wanting to focus on the bright, sunny side of gaming instead of covering negative news. Some people just aren't cut out for it. As a Portuguese man myself, I was literally born for it, because this country's ancestry has always had a bunch of shit to complain about. But hey, some people are not that way and I understand that. In these cases, you just have to cover other studios, praise other games. Sticking to AAA only, especially companies like Bethesda, is and always always will be a contentious issue for you because Bethesda and AAA companies in general have been screwing up for over a decade now. It's not that there aren't positive things within all of that to enjoy, of course there are, but many of these companies have exhausted their goodwill, and so positive stories are hard to come by these days within that sphere. But shit, boy, go talk about something else. Go talk about Sandfall, for example. Or look at this game. Look at the game that's been running in the background right now. This is Motor Slice. It's a great game. Go talk about that. A few months ago, I talked about Penline, a Mirror's Edge-like indie game that is in development by a very small team, if not an entirely solo developer, and that the game even pissed off one of the original developers from Mirror's Edge. Or, well, I pissed him off, because he was talking about getting sued by EA, and I thought it was bullshit. See, aggressively positive Des. That's what happens when you try to screw with my Mirror's Edge fix. I need it. I need my Mirror's Edge fix. If you come fuck with it, I'm going to bite you in the ass. And of course, in an entirely positive defense. And now some of you may ask, but Des, why is it that your Mirror's Edge fix has to come from an indie studio? Well, that's because EA is a deplorable company, revolting, vile, and so for them there's no money in making single-player Mirror's Edge games anymore, so the franchise is on ice. It may as well be dead. Now you see how that works there? See how that works? This is the industry. Positivity and negativity, both of them woven together like a perfect little yin-yang symbol. This is how it's always been, and the only reason why it didn't feel, maybe, so negative back then the way that it does now is because big AAA studios were still, for the most part, very competent and making decent games that satisfied most people. It's as simple as that. Things simply got worse and now there's more criticism of them out there. Still, no shortage of positive topics for people to cover. So this whole thing of all this negativity, it's just a cope, it's a lie. And your desire to focus on quote-unquote positivity does not mean that criticism must be oppressively halted, which leads us to the final comment that I wanted to show you guys from Colt. Someone else says, "So sick of the negativity and nitpicking with gaming lately? Wait, are you saying that the gamers should continue to lower their expectations and that games should take longer to develop, cost more, and be worse?" Colt replies with, "No, you said that. I didn't." Now that's definitely what you said. No, read it again, don't overdo it. Well, I have a question about that then. In these replies, Colt just admitted that there's been a bunch of hype, sparkles, and fireworks over Palworld and Marvel Tokon, meaning that there is both positive stuff and negative stuff surrounding gaming. So if Colt is not saying that people should just shut up and continue to lower their expectations, continue to eat slop without criticizing it, continue to accept companies hiking up their game prices and hardware prices while citing market conditions, doing the same to our physical media, totally erasing that avenue of buying and sharing games from the market because again, oh my goodness guys, the market conditions are so bad, we need more money, while at the same time these companies are making these games cost an exorbitant amount of money to develop, while wasting it on casting Hollywood actors to come wear a fucking cube in their mocap studios just for funsies. Then what the hell is Colt talking about? What is Colt saying then? What are all these people saying if not that we shouldn't call these things out and demand better for ourselves simply because doing so means that we're quote-unquote being negative? I got the same kind of comment in my Halo review. But Des, when will you just make a single damn positive video in your miserable life, huh? The hell does that even mean? I played Halo. I didn't like Halo all that much. I felt there was a somewhat dangerous disconnect that might mean a bad direction going forward, and so I criticized exactly why in my video. What am I supposed to do? Lie to you guys so I can see if Xbox keeps sending me more free keys in the future? Shit! Fake excitement in a video about how great the water looks, how beautiful the ring is, how the skybox is vibrant blue, how the car goes vroom vroom when I press W on a keyboard?
This is Sensitive to Light by Rainbow, 1978.
Should I kind of tilt you guys, your perception towards spending the $60, shut your brains off and play the campaign as is? Like, fellas, I'm sorry, but I can't do it. On the other hand, when I make a video like this and I tell you that I'm having a blast in Mortar Slice, or I tell you that I've been playing Prototype or Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise again, and it's been fun as hell, if I show you good-looking indies like Tricky Madness, The Nightling, or Sprawl, or Suit for Hire, or an old gem like Remember Me, or some new shit that I enjoyed like Crimson Desert and Pragmata, or middle-of-the-road releases that I liked but are flawed and need some extra work such as Samson, also from earlier this year, or if I just take a whole video and I sit there glazing a game the way that I did for Metal Garden and Atomfall, then at least you know that I actually like these games. At least you know that I'm being me. I'm not trying to sell you a product. I'm not waking up in the morning and picking something to be positive about because being negative makes me feel weird inside. No, it's just straight up how I feel and why I feel this way, packaged into a video. You know what this is? It's oppressive positivity. It's where it's virtuous to be positive. You're better than me if you are positive, and anyone who is doing the opposite, who's criticizing something, is some kind of bad person because, they're being a negative force in the media, man. They're putting out negative vibes into the stratosphere, man. Meanwhile, it's all based in arbitrary fake definitions. Again, what does it even mean to be positive? Just glaze a company or a game regardless? Even if it's a lie? Even if the truth points that people should be cautious? PlayStation wants to terminate physical copies while they still continue to make no assurances that either A, they will lower the price of their digital-only games to make up for it, or B, that they will at least change their user agreements so that when we buy a digital game, we're actually buying it and not just renting a license that they can remove from us the way that they removed 500 digital movie purchases from users in the UK. If this pisses me off, if this is a negative thing, and it is, there is no debate on that, then why would it be positive for me to fake positivity for this shit and help the company in its effort to fake a consensus online the way that they were already caught doing, by the way, through bot farms? And why am I supposed to forget all of this just because Wolverine is out in about a month or so? Oh, Wolverine is coming, I just want to be positive about Wolverine. Well, I'm sorry, brother, but Wolverine comes from PlayStation, and right now I'm feeling a little bit miffed. And then at the end of the day, really, it's just Wolverine. Some people act like only 10 games release every year, and so like every single one of these 10 games is massively important and people should not miss them. It's this weird worship-like view of new games coming out. And it's so goddamn ridiculous. You could go an entire year without buying a single main AAA release and you would be fine. There's so many good games coming out these days in the indie sphere, and also, there's so many good games that you can pick up from last year that you missed, or from the year before that, or the one before that, so on, going back like 20 years. You don't need to play everything that's new that's coming out. You can wait until next year when they're half the goddamn price. Is it negative to say this? So it's negative to advocate for people's money? But Daz, if you do that, you're doing something that is unhealthy for the industry. No, it's not, because I wouldn't tell you guys to do the same thing for a really good game that I think is worth it. At the end of the day, really, the decision is yours. Like, I'm not the mastermind, I'm not Doctor Strange, I don't have the Mind Stone being able to force you to do stuff. I can say that for me, ever since the start of the year, the games that I've been most excited for, that I definitely am not skipping at launch, is Control Resonant and Blood of the Dawnwalker. It's just simply not my fault or your fault that some new games coming out aren't worthy of day one $70 purchases. Nobody's forcing these studios to charge that much for them either. Expedition 33 last year launched for $50 and it even had a 10% off pre-order discount. It's not negativity to expect better treatment and fairer prices from these companies in general. general. Praising everything that these companies do without context is toxic positivity, and pushing the framing that being negative is harmful to the industry and the medium, plus blaming goddamn monetization over it, which puts pressure on platforms to revise what kind of content they monetize or not, straight up crosses 1,000 more boundaries into it being oppressive positivity, and I'm not going to take it. I'll criticize that too, and guess what? When doing so, I'm actually the one doing the positive content. Because goddammit if it ain't positive to argue in favor of free speech. And you know who this is even worse for? You know who really suffers from this crap? Game developers working in game studios who are both afraid of speaking out because A, they gotta deal with their own company's executives firing them for it, and B, they gotta deal with the negativity from games media and absolute nutcases on social media going after them for daring to speak out against a corrupt system that's been throwing them overboard since over a decade. Them and you, because your games aren't getting better now, are they? Enter Niall Sankey. I hope I didn't butcher his name. He is currently a solo game developer working on his own game called The Razor Form. It actually looks pretty cool. You guys should check it out. It's not out yet, but there's some screenshots and footage on Steam. Before this though, Niles worked at Bungie on games like Halo 3, Halo Reach, and the first Destiny. And before that he worked at Monolith, the now shut down studio that was making Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, and that all the way back in the day made Fear, for example. A lot of you commented on my Halo video that you really liked the intro on it.
Not bad, Spartan. I'm almost starting to believe the propaganda.
Specifically, you liked the punch that kicked it off at the beginning. That funny punch clip was posted by Niall Sankey. At least that's where I got it from for my video. He was criticizing some aspects of Halo Campaign Evolved and modern game development in general in a pretty fiery way with no holds barred, which is actually so refreshing because again, nobody is allowed to. It must be downright claustrophobic to be one of the normal, sane people working in these big studios now and not be able to speak out on these major issues going on inside, not be able to speak their mind, not be able to criticize their work internally because the entire goddamn thing is possessed by oppressive positivity. Everybody's just huffing the same brand of copium and you need to huff that copium too, otherwise you're out. Let me read you some of his posts. Quote, "As someone who worked in game dev a long time, let me explain the conversation that the devs probably had when writing this character, and this is in reference to that annoying Williams character from the new Halo missions. Let's add some character development. Cool, yeah, that's what smart writers do. Yeah, maybe one of the Marines you save is an ODST, and check this out. According to ChatGPT, they don't like Spartans, so let's have them hate the Master Chief at the start, but then the player earns their respect. OMG, that's so great. That's character development. But wait, how do we also add diversity? Okay, check this out. Let's make the ODST a woman. OMG, that's perfect! But what if Halo fans don't like it? Who cares? They'll buy whatever slop we sell them. Yay, more money for us and our amazing ideas. What a great day of work. Oh no, it's 4:30 p.m. I need to be at the No Kings protest. Okay, have fun, see you tomorrow. And boy oh boy, first of all, that wasn't just funny, but it also sounded pretty damn accurate from the kinds of leaked videos we've been able to see over the years of how consultants actually worm their garbage into big games, but also from documentaries these studios make on their own sometimes. I'd only add one thing to make it perfect. When the developer says, what if Halo fans don't like it? One additional person from like marketing or whatever should pop their heads in and say, oh, no problem, we'll just hide her from all the promotional material and pretend she's not there. Because that's what actually happened. But anyway, this tweet got almost 1 million views on X, and it made a lot of people extremely mad at this dude. Thankfully, he's not too soft for this world, so he held himself up just fine and even kept posting after that. He made another one going into why so many AAA companies make games with quote-unquote woke characters and stories, again from his experience based on the places he worked at. I'll quickly read it for you guys and then I'll add my own 2 cents. In the early mid-2010s, there was a shift to DEI hiring, where a company creates goals to prioritize/increase the percentage of female/POC employees. I think both the left and the right acknowledged this was happening. With this in mind, companies usually first inject the DEI hiring into soft skill departments. Soft skills are skills that are easy to fake competence in, but difficult to master, and more importantly, difficult to critique. Writing is a soft skill. Most people think, I can write a novel, it's just a story that you write. I can open Microsoft Word and type. When in fact, it takes a long time to become a good writer. The same goes for video game writing. Programming is not a soft skill. You can't fake being a good programmer, or at least not like you can fake being a good writer. Interviewing/evaluating programmers is typically a very refined technical process, because game dev is inherently technical. It's also incredibly risky to hire incompetent programmers. This will break/delay a game and cost millions of dollars in lost revenue. It's also the case that soft skills attract more left-leaning people, but I digress. The end result. DEI hiring usually happens more in the soft skills because it appears to studio leads to be the least risky department to diversify. If you want to add diverse faces to your staff portfolio, this is a great place to do it without risking technical failures. Once entrenched, the woke aesthetic spread into other aspects of the game by means of thought policing and toxic positivity. A story for another time. And by the way, side note, you guys can actually see this story unravel at Obsidian Entertainment back when Matt Hansen was there. There were reports about this guy and there were whistleblowers from inside the studio talking about the kind of work environment that people like him caused inside. But anyway, back to Niles' post. This is why very often you'll see competent video games, runs well, looks decent, is fun, but with modern audience writing. The game/studio then slowly transforms into a hollowed out shell of what it once was, as the competent right-leaning or non-political devs check out. Again, I've seen this happen at the places I worked." End quote. And it wasn't just him either, as some people who have had the same experience in game dev related, not just in Niles' post, but also other stories that we've seen over time over the past couple of years. But of course, in came the retard squad as well to spread hate on his replies or just straight up insult him, calling him embarrassing, saying that he's crashing out, saying that it's unreasonable, some people also alluding to this being bigoted, as it means nobody should hire black people, which the dude also responded to with this. Which is dead on, because what the hell are you talking about? Nobody said that. Again, same old story of bringing up the same old strawman arguments to avoid the actual discussion, because they know that if you actually talk about what's going on in the industry with facts, without spazzing out, without losing it, they're cooked. Because the worldview, the system, is antithetical to game development, at least at these levels. This can only endure in a fantasy land where video games are cheap to make and don't need to make money. So all they have to do, the only thing they need to serve, is to represent them and their politics and worldviews and all this nonsense that they feel not represented by in current video games, or at least in video games as they used to be all these years ago, because in their minds, video games are not for fun and escapism, they're for self-validation. The only thing I would grant them in here is that I don't like merely using the word woke. It leaves too much unsaid and undefined. His meaning and use has been completely brutalized by dumbasses who don't know what it means on both sides of the argument. It's been ridiculed by people who defend these kinds of things in gaming, and so that's why when I talk about these things, I prefer to not even use it. I just tell you straight up what is happening and what I mean. But that's just a nitpick, it's a personal thing for me that saves me a headache or two when making my videos, because it avoids disingenuous misframings or mockery of what quote-unquote woke means. Because that aside, Niall's post had nothing wrong with it. The big issue, the truth behind it all with these people is that they don't want to look in the true face of what they support and what it is doing to the industry. They didn't even argue back. You get people insulting this guy, you know, all that nonsense, but you don't see any of them saying that he's wrong and debunking his claims. Again, people like this, they don't want to look in the face of the work cultures that they have fostered.
Mostly, all people of color. We have no white people on our team. I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment. And I know the best way for an environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me.
They don't want to look in the face of the absolute shit show that they support as being morally superior, but that is a total disaster when it comes to financials. Oh, they'll be the first to scream and shout at the face of layoffs in the industry whenever they happen, but they were silent while DEI programs and initiatives were replacing competent developers in accordance to their racial and sexual quotas. Or in cases like these over here with programs in CD Projekt Red and Ubisoft where they don't even allow men to apply in the first place. What happened, baby? Where are all the protests about this? Where are all the people complaining about this? I thought discrimination was wrong. Oh, right, if it's against men or if it's against white people, then it's not discrimination. I forgot, I'm sorry, fellas. I'm still learning. The most important part of this post, though, is what he hasn't even gone into yet. Let me read it again. Once entrenched, the woke aesthetic spread into other aspects of the game by means of thought policing and toxic positivity. A story for another time. It's the way that these things become entrenched in the studio's culture that makes everything worse. The way it creates pockets for this toxic positivity to rise up. The way it kills morale in studios. How it creates oppressive work environments where you need to either conform or leave. The way you can even talk about any of these horrors freely outside because you will lose your job and get attacked online. And also the way that games get worse. And all that is just disgusting. It's oppressive positivity. But anyway, I'll end this video here. That's it for this one, fellas, but I would love to return to the topic later. Ideally, if and when Niall Sankey tells the rest of the story that he left for another time, you know, pertaining to the toxic positivity inside of the studios. But even if he doesn't, I might get back here anyway with my own thoughts on what that does, you know, the consequences of it, and just in general, why we can't let it be. Because this is at the root of why AAA has been so unrecognizable lately. This is why people are sharing clips right now of the new Gears game, and how it strangely feels like a comeback, even though at the same time, we all know that it isn't exactly a comeback. We know that there's going to be cringe found in it, it's just that we're hoping that it's not going to be so bad. Maybe just that weird woman thing that Xbox shared a clip of telling their customers to come talk to them when their balls drop.
Yeah, why don't you come talk shit when your balls drop? Yeah, why don't you come talk shit when your balls drop? Yeah, why don't you come talk shit when your balls drop?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Why is this crap in the game? Oh, because we got fucking parasites in these studios. That's the whole point of this section of the video. Somebody opened their Microsoft Word document and they thought, hey, you know what? I'm a writer. And I'm about to put something really badass in this game. But still, you know, there's that nostalgia feeling there of grabbing a gun with a goddamn chainsaw attached and ripping some alien in half. And that's because guns with chainsaws on them, being bulkily held by big chuds in fat-ass armor, tearing it up in a concrete jungle that looks gray and brown outside of the blood spatters from the gore from, you know, the gameplay, is exactly the kind of shit that we miss seeing more of, and the kind of shit that we had an unlimited supply of back then across all sorts of genres, because game studios weren't trying so hard to diversify, corporatize, and collegeify themselves, and focusing so much on their impact on society and why that should be leaned towards being politically correct and all this garbage. Instead, studios were filled with dudes like Niall Sankey who don't give two shits about any of that and just wanted to make the coolest thing that they could possibly cook up together, making the most efficient use of their budgets as possible, even if it means that for audio design, they send some dude out with a fucking microphone to record sounds from his Honda Civic or spend an afternoon beating the snot out of a pot.
A pair of headphones on, got a stereo mic in my hand, I'm just running up and down the water, trying to get as much different water footstep sounds as possible.
Most of what we do is
take all these different elements, mix it together until it sounds awesome.
I just start listening like a chef cooking in a kitchen. You have all these ingredients, start throwing some stuff in, and say, maybe this spice will be good. Rob didn't just bang on a wok, he beat the living snot out of it. Ended up getting used as the Warthog hubcap.
I'm gonna make a recording of the hydraulic door here on my car. I have a Subaru hatchback, and I recorded my hatch opening to get some kind of a sound that kind of goes up in pitch, and then you can manipulate it to sound big.
When we went to go make sound for the Mongoose, I recorded a 2-stroke Vespa that I own that has an aftermarket muffler on it, which just makes it obscenely obnoxious. Then we recorded Eric Arroyo's Fiero. 6-inch fat pipes on the back, 2 of them dual exhaust. And as I jump in it, you can hear the growl of the 2-stroke. Then you got this really growly, 4-stroke, huge sounding exhaust. And now it's the mixture of both of them.
The difference between good enough and awesome is so big, and I mean, there's standards set by everyone here that, I mean, good enough sucks.
We are the most cynical people. Like, we are the jaded crowd who, if a game doesn't entertain us in 5 minutes, we stop playing it.
And so you can have all the great graphics and all the different characters and lots of different weapons with amazing effects, but if you don't nail that 30 seconds, you're not going to have a great game.
This is the culture that we lost. It got replaced with a multiverse of greed and soy. And it's just sad, dude. We had this growing up and it was perfect. So perfect that it's actually crazy that we took it for granted. And I don't know, but I'd like to at least try to bring it back so another generation of kids can someday have it too. Thank you very much for watching. Again, if you enjoyed the video, giving it a like or a comment or a hype is a huge help for the channel. If you didn't enjoy the video, I'll give you 20 push-ups. Anyway, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care out there and play some good games.